We all know where Hiroshima is, or rather, what happened to it on the 6th of August 1945 at exactly 8:16 a.m. President Harry S. Truman, the 33rd President of the United States of America, decided that it would be a great idea to bomb a city of more than 350,000 people to end a war. Because of this, lots of people died, and many people, also known as me, asked the question, does killing more than half the population make him the villain, or was it necessary in terms of ethicality? This video explains my point of view and whether I believe it was necessary. Now, to begin with, we need to learn how the bomb works. This is little boy. Wait, not that little boy, this little boy. This is the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima, nicknamed Little Boy. But nothing about this is little. It stands at a staggering 2 feet tall. I know, massive. But other than that, this is about 10 feet long and weighed almost 4,500 kilograms. This was a gun-type atomic bomb, meaning that it uses a firing mechanism to blow a piece of uranium-235 into another, causing a massive explosion. The concept of this bomb was thought up by famous physicist Albert Einstein. The idea was thought up around a month after the Second World War broke out. Einstein wrote a letter to the US president of that time, Franklin D. Roosevelt. Einstein included notes on how the incredible amounts of energy that could be created by splitting the atom and how it could be utilized to make powerful bomb in his letter. After writing this, he urged Roosevelt to set up a nuclear research project, dubbed the Uranium Committee, to beat another country who was in the race to nuclear technology, Nazi Germany. Because of this, it led to the US government setting up the Manhattan Project, with 40,000 people being tasked with creating a viable atom bomb as soon as possible. Now onto answering whether the brutality and ethical implications of the bomb were necessary. We can refer to eyewitness accounts of multiple survivors of the Hiroshima bomb and science to answer our question. To begin with, we introduce our 3 survivors, Emiko Okada, Fujio Torikoshi, and Ryoga Suwa. Based on their accounts, the atom bomb caused the city to be known as the City of Yakuza, also known as a City of Gangsters. Children would steal to survive, and orphans who grew up in Hiroshima would harbor a hatred for grown-ups. When the atom bomb fell, a hot gust of wind hit people's faces, causing their hair to fall out and gums to bleed, and another would lift people off their feet. After the major damages of the bomb, which included the destruction of 13,000 households and the original Johoji Temple, which would later be relocated to its current address in 1951, many were sent to hospitals, where some drifted between consciousness and unconsciousness, faced swelling so bad eyes cannot be opened, and scars that will permanently haunt them. Back then, people's ears were so trained that they could identify the B-29's engines, but alas, nothing could be done. The strategic planning of the US Army led to the Enola Gay flying unnoticed by the Japanese Army. The Enola Gay was flying solo to avoid suspicion, which worked as many survivors and eyewitnesses thought the plane was flying through the city. Now obviously, President Truman dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to stop the Second World War. But what if he never made the decision to drop the bomb or to beat Nazi Germany in the atomic race? The following are purely hypothetical. However, based on the research made, if President Truman never made the decision to drop the bomb, Japan would have most likely prolonged the war into the late 1945s or to 1946. US military forces would likely have launched a full-scale invasion on Japan, resulting in very high military and civilian casualties. Massive destructions of both factions would have occurred from continued conventional bombing and land battles. Soviet forces may have invaded northern Japan, complicating post-war occupation, and Japan would only surrender in mid to late 1946, but only after millions more of deaths. with both a real outcome and a theoretical outcome of both situations of the decision to use the nuclear bombs, we can come to answer our question of whether President Truman's decision to drop the bomb was correct as it ended the war, but to what extent was it necessary and ethical in achieving that goal. At this point, we need to look back at the outcome of the bomb. While the bomb likely saved more lives than it took by preventing a full-scale invasion, it also caused indescribable suffering, especially for civilians who had little say in the war, as well as those who survived the blast of the bomb. As a personal opinion, I believe that this was necessary to end the war, but at a tremendous human cost. Whether it was ethical depends on how the human lives weigh, the ones lost in Hiroshima or the ones that might have been lost in an invasion. This is a question that many still are puzzled with.